Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Jessica Gem here. Welcome to Season 1, Part 4 of What If Midoriya Had the One Ring? I just wanted to greet you guys by saying, sit back and relax, you're in for a treat. And so, we begin. Izuku Midoriya stood and looked upon the exam that Nezu had meticulously created for him. It looked simple enough, but that was far from the truth. First, Midoriya had to fill out a test paper that is typically reserved for second-year students' midterms. He scored a respectable 71%. Next up, Midoriya was asked to join Nezu for tea, under the illusion that he'd passed, whilst the two reviewed the footage of the various cities during the standard entrance exam. The ring user could see through the falsehoods of Nezu's exam, and called him on it immediately. Applauding Midoriya for his conclusion, Nezu proceeded to inquire what the teen thought the next part of his exam was, to which the teen replied that it was to observe the footage and point out ambush points that students and bots could have used for future standard exams, along with pointing out exemplary performances, to which Nezu simply responded with the quote, "Brilliant deduction, my dear Watson." Izuku glanced across the various cities whilst watching students, bots, and occasionally looking at the scores for students, pointing out those who he, in his own opinion, thought should be offered spots in the underground hero course, as opposed to the standard hero course, due to their quirk, fighting style, and tactics used during their exams. That one, Toru Hagakure. And those two there, Hantasero and Fumikage Tokoyami. This is tough with so many student applicants. No, wait, those two as well. Kyokujiro and Koji Koda. There has to be more. Yes, them. Those three over there. They're using ambush tactics. Shihai Kurohiro, Kinoko Komori, and Reiko Yanagi. Everyone else is way too flashy or loud. I mean, maybe that frog girl there, Tsuyu Asui, but I'm unsure if she'd accept the offer. Izuku scratched his chin as Aizawa loomed over the young underground hero enthusiast, slightly nodding at the teen's choices. Nezu spoke up to finish off Midoriya's examination. "Well, young man, I believe I've seen all I need to know you'd make an excellent underground hero trainee. Would you not agree, Mr. Aizawa?" The small rodent bear that was the principal of UA gave a smirk, gesturing to the young man before him as he inquired for the opinion of Shota Aizawa.
"I'll be the final judge of that. You've gotten Midoriya's intellect tested, but I want his stealth and his combat capabilities tested first. Don't get me wrong, kid. You're definitely smart, and most likely hero material, but I need to see your skills if you're going to be in my special underground class. I gotta know if you're worth my extra effort. Worthy of being one of my many problem children I'll likely be saddled with this year,"
Aizawa casually grumbled, looking at Midoriya indifferently. "Well, how can I get started, problem teacher?" Midoriya retorted with an equally indifferent tone, likely mimicking Aizawa as a small form of joke, one he did not take well, as Aizawa strangled the green-haired teen by the throat with his capture scarf and proceeded to throw him to the ground.
"Here's what you gotta do, kid. Land a single strike on me, and I'll be content with your combat skills. Survive, and I'll find your stealth skills worthy. I'll give you a 1-minute head start. After that, I'll be trying to not only hunt you down, but either incapacitate or knock you out, whatever comes first."
Izuku rubbed his neck and scowled at the underground hero Eraserhead, before dashing out of the principal's office. It didn't take long for Izuku to figure out if he stood any chance at striking the hero even once, he needed to use the surroundings of the empty UA school building to ambush and attack him. Aizawa wandered the hallways and checked classrooms, being attacked by quick-made traps left behind by Midoriya as he moved from room to room. The hero hot on his heels at this stage.
"Alright, kid. I gotta admit your little traps are cute and all, but we both know you're running out of time. I have you cornered."
Aizawa walked around the locker rooms of Class 3B, almost lazily kicking open each of the lockers one by one. He came to the final locker with a terrifying smirk on his face, sending chills down Midoriya's spine. But the teen had to hold steadfast and readied himself.
"Game over, kid."
Aizawa spoke as he kicked the locker door open to find nothing. This was impossible. The kid had to be in here. He saw him go in here.
Neat trick. I guess you've got some stealth. Let me guess. You were standing behind the door as I came in, and quietly left as I was kicking open lockers. So that means you're probably doubling back about now and heading past the classrooms to wait to ambush me in Nezu's office. And who am I talking to? You're long gone at this stage.
True to Aizawa's deduction, Midoriya had done just that, but there were a few things incorrect about his theory. Midoriya made a quick stop off at the support course workshop before returning to Nezu's office. The principal sat back, sipping on his tea as he observed the ring wielder hammer at an anvil in his office, manufacturing all manner of traps, tricks, and defenses for the final ambush. Each creation was more interesting than the last. Aizawa burst into the office scowling under his goggles, his quirk activated, and capture tool launching on sight at Midoriya, who stood unfazed near the far window at the opposite side of the room. But upon pressing a small handheld button, Eraserhead's capture tool grew rigid and taut, unable to move without snapping and shattering. Two devices beside the doorway to the office had rendered the iconic support tool of the sleepy underground hero useless and frozen in midair. It was difficult, but Eraserhead quickly wriggled his way out of the trappings of his own scarf and charged Midoriya again, only to slam into a giant, near-invisible wall that could only be seen upon close inspection. It seemed to be crafted of a specialized hardened glass to give it this property. Aizawa slowly raised his head and noticed there were multiple Midoriyas around him after hearing a hissing sound. Another trap. The office was now filled with mirrors, so one of these several problem children was the correct one. The rest, nothing but reflections. Not the first time he'd been in a similar situation. Eraserhead decided to start whittling down the numbers until he hit the correct target. All according to plan. As the underground hero kicked off a mirrored surface towards the real Midoriya, not knowing if it was a reflection or the true target, the ring wielder ducked under Aizawa and pressed his button again, causing the scarf that Aizawa had discarded to return to its normal self, which meant it was mid-launch toward the other side of the room. It was beyond embarrassing as Nezu burst out laughing, spitting out some tea as both he and Izuku watched Aizawa become entangled and captured in his own scarf. Midoriya confidently wandered over and tapped Aizawa with a gentle kick. Sighing, the underground hero stopped struggling and joined Nezu in his laughter about the irony of being trapped in his own scarf.
Alright, you're good, problem child. But you'll need to learn to face your enemies head on. You won't have the benefit of stealth attacks or time to set up traps on your side all the time.
Midoriya gave his future teacher an affirmative nod as he helped him out of the capture scarf tangle. Well, good thing I'll have a good teacher.
Flattery will get you nowhere, problem child. Although, I admit, I may be taking a liking to your style.
Aizawa grunted with a smirk on his face as he watched Izuku leave Nezu's office. Izuku Midoriya wandered home, sighing to himself, a little disappointed he didn't get to test out his surprise he made back during training with Cementos. But the young teen sensed opportunity when he looked down a street and saw some less than desirable individuals readying their quirks to attack an unsuspecting male in a black coat with pointed ears and blue hair. Midoriya stalked closer, hidden from view while he allowed his first attempt of armor to envelop him in its dark embrace. He then drew the attention of all three of the thugs and their attempted victim as Midoriya wandered out into view, his armor of ebony metal towering above them all. The teen's helm commanded a dominant presence, with its skull-like appearance and long spikes, as if donning a sharp crown of hatred. At Midoriya's side was a large mace that he simply swung once at the thugs, sending all of them flying as it unleashed a blast of telekinetic force, smashing them against the walls of various buildings, knocking them all out cold. The armored teen turned to look down at the older boy, and a deep and echoing voice spoke from within.
Are you unharmed? I apologize if my appearance is slightly intimidating, but sometimes you must be intimidating when dealing with an enemy, especially villains. After all, more times than you'd expect, they all just bark with no bite.
Midoriya spoke softly within his armored suit, and yet the sound produced was a deep echoing that sounded nothing like Midoriya.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. What do I call you? I've not seen you before. Are you a new pro hero on patrol?
The pointy-eared male stuttered slightly, as he sometimes looked down at his shoes and other times looking over at the unconscious thugs who just tried to mug him.
Oh, yes, well, my name is Sauron, but I am not a pro, or even a hero, not officially. Still, I won't stand idly by and watch a seemingly innocent young man to be attacked from behind in an unfair fight.
Midoriya was left little choice, but to be honest, this was the whole point of the larger, more intimidating armor that he'd kept secret from UA. After all, Izuku wasn't going to let UA or the Hero Commission limit him. The green-haired teen had no issues in standing as a vigilante under this Sauron persona, and learning from UA as his pro-hero persona, which still needed a name.
So, you're a vigilante? I should turn you in, and if you won't go quietly, assist in taking you down. It's what I should do as not only a UA hero in training, but also a member of UA's Big Three. Mirio and Nejuri wouldn't like it if I just let you walk, but you still saved me. I will give a full statement and a description of you to the police and pro heroes, but I'll let you have a head start on your escape as thanks. Then I'll point the pros after you. If we meet again, I won't give you a second chance, regardless of if you save me again or not.
The male's mannerisms staled, and he took a defensive stance at the drop of a hat, as if readying for battle. Then again, he was from the Big Three. Midoriya should expect no less, and using the process of elimination, this must be Tamaki Amajiki. Midoriya, or rather Sauron, gave a bow of respect with a grunt. Using his enhanced physical abilities that the armor and his ring combined provided, Sauron jumped high onto the rooftops and ran as far as his legs would carry him, before he stealthily slipped into an alleyway and dropped the dark armor of Sauron. Returning to good old Izuku Midoriya. Well, this is just perfect. Sauron is already a wanted vigilante, and Midoriya wasn't even ready for this whole being on the run and hiding his second identity crap. Ah well, the boy hummed to himself as he looked down at his golden ring, glinting in the light of the dimly glowing alleyway. A pair of eyes narrowed behind a bandana as they observed the young green-haired teen. The figure withdrew a sword and meditated on the boy's actions earlier, and concluded this needs closer observation before he can make his judgment, as the hidden figure slid the sword back into its sheath. He wasn't the only one there to witness Midoriya's change from Sauron to Midoriya. A male in a black leather jacket covered in scars and stitches watched from just around a corner before smirking and wandering away. Slowly, the scarred male came back to a pile of corpses. Most were burnt to a crisp, but some were cut up as a nearby girl sat on a large dumpster, kicking her legs as she waited for her compatriot in murder to return. She donned a schoolgirl's uniform and had blonde hair, along with a pair of sharp canines that were near vampiric.
What was it? What did you see, Dobby? What did you see? Come on, tell me. Was it more walking blood banks?
The girl eagerly addressed the scarred male in the black leather jacket, now known as Dobby.
Calm your bloodlust, Toga. Damn. Yeah, I saw something, but I don't think we should kill this one. He's different. I could feel an aura coming off him that just screamed all kinds of repressed hate for things, and yet, there was an order and intelligence to it. I don't know. Best we not mess with him. Not yet, anyway. If you're that curious about him, you're welcome to hang around this area if he comes through here again. He was a little guy about your age, with green hair and freckles. But that was after he emerged from what looked like a massive medieval Black Knight's suit of armor.
Dobby shrugged at Toga as he walked off, waving at her after giving her all the info she needed to satisfy her curiosity of what he went to go look at. And yet, it also piqued her curiosity in who this green-haired boy was, if even Dobby was telling her that this kid had a don't mess with me vibe. Thank you for watching. Drop a comment about your favorite series or suggestions, and huge thanks to our team for another amazing video. If you're interested in joining us and you're 16 years of age or older, feel free to check out the team Discord linked in the description. That's all for now, so farewell, and have a divine day!